Over the last 2 years, I have been able to get to know different people from all around our church here. And, one of my favorite questions to ask has been, what has been a defining moment for you at Willow? And I have heard stories about people coming to know Jesus for the first time, like baptism stories. I've heard stories of people, taking a risk or responding to a challenging teaching and watching God come through in powerful ways. And I've heard stories about a defining moment where someone's loved one was going through a job loss or a health issue, and their small group or people from the church coming around them and supporting them. And it's just some really meaningful ways that God has shown up in people's lives, just defining moments. And, some of the most profound stories of life change have come out of people taking their next steps in stewardship. People who have said, and whether it's generosity or whether it's getting out of debt or whatever it is, that has been one of the things again and again that I have heard people say was a defining moment in their faith journey. And these next few weeks, our entire church is going to take a look at what God says about stewardship, about money. And the weekend series is called More Than Money. And I know you're like, well, talking about money, that might be uncomfortable, but here's the thing. Jesus talked about money more than any other topic. Can you believe that? But it's true. And why is that? Well, I think it might be because money tends to be one of the number one competitors for people's hearts. And so these next few weeks, we want to talk about what God says about money. Seeing that money is not primarily a financial issue, it's really a heart issue. Because Jesus says, where your money goes, that's where your heart goes. Where your heart goes, that's where your money goes. So this is about more than money. There are people within our church, people in your neighborhood, in your families, and maybe even some of you who are drowning under mountains of debt. There are people who are trapped in the lie that their security or their happiness lies in a bank account. And it's compromising their faith in God. There are people that are struggling with materialism or coming back again and again to that next thing that they can acquire as if it's somehow going to satisfy them. Something powerful and profound happens when we experience the personal transformation that comes from growing in our stewardship, growing in our generosity. When we start to understand that God wants something for us more than He wants something from us. And we truly can find freedom in new ways. More Than Money. It's a 5-week teaching series. And we'll kick things off by talking about different ways people hold their wallets. And then Megan Marshman will be with us to talk about when Jesus said, we cannot have two masters. And then we'll get really practical in week 3. And we're going to talk about cultivating healthy financial practices. Just some basic stuff that you can take and apply to your life the very next week. And then week 4, I'm super excited. We're going to be welcoming Pastor Robert Morris from Gateway Church as we talk about offering God the first fruits of our lives. And then all of this, the whole series, is building up to what I believe is going to be a really special experience for our church. As we close this series on February 27th, we're all going to have the chance to respond to what God has been teaching us and to commit to taking a next step together in generosity. So I want to ask you 2 things. First, will you join us for this series at one of our locations or online? I really think that God wants to do something special in each of us, and I'm excited to explore this topic together. And then second, so first show up, and then second, will you pray about who's in your life that might need this message, and then invite them. Most of us know someone who's experiencing the daily anxiety of financial stress and uncertainty. So maybe God wants to use this series to help a friend or family member not only find financial freedom, but open the door to experiencing Jesus' love and grace in a new way. Willow, God is moving in this place. These last few years have been incredibly challenging in so many ways, but God has never, not once, been absent or inactive. And I believe that this year is going to be marked by healthy growth in our church and I can't wait to see what God has in store.